Hello my gorgeous lovely people, welcome back to another video. My name's Morgan. Today I'm going to be filming just a read with me for a week, pretty similar to my video last week, which was mood read with me for a week. So currently right now I am reading a book called Frost. I've been reading it on my iPad because I just got my iPad, and you know when you get a new piece of technology and like it's all you want to use? So instead of reading it on my Kindle, I've been reading it on the Kindle app on my iPad. So Frost by Crawford, it's like a fae romance book. I'm 70% through, so I'll be finishing it pretty soon here, hopefully tonight or something. But it's basically about this girl, and it's her birthday, right? And she is half fae, not half fae, but fae, a fairy, that has lived in the human realm for a long time because she got kicked out of the fae world. And it's her birthday. And she comes home to her boyfriend of like 6 years, cheating on her. She's like, oh my God, my life's falling apart. Like, this man I've been with forever, thought he was my future, whatever. Just falling apart. Then the king of the fae world, his name is Torin. He is hosting like these series of games to become the queen. My camera literally died on me in that last clip, so I'm a bit more put together now because I have to go to work like literally right now. But here I am filming this. What I was saying before is the main male character, Torin. He basically hosts these games that all these women have to compete to become the queen. So she goes with Torin, strikes a deal with him to go to this fairy world and compete in these games to hopefully become the queen. Torin's thing is though that he can't fall in love because he has a curse on him that if he falls in love, he strikes ice through his lover's veins and they die. So this book's actually really good. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. It just randomly came up in my Kindle Unlimited and I was like, I love that cover, and also Frost. That sounds like wintry themed, and here we are in December, so might as well give it a go. And it's only like 320 pages too, so it's really short for a fantasy book. This world building, probably not really like beginner friendly, but definitely easy to understand. Enough talking from me. I'm gonna go to work and I'll probably see you guys after work. And I'm gonna try to finish the book tonight, or at least get mainly done with Frost tonight. You know when you get to the end of a chapter and you go on to the next thing and it's literally nothing's there? Nothing's on the next page. It said I had 20 minutes left of this book when I started the second to last chapter, read the next one that was only 2 minutes, and then it ends on a huge cliffhanger. And I'm like, wait, that's it? That's it? I'll talk to you guys in a few. I need to get my thoughts together and really think about the ending of this book. Good thing there's a second one, because if there wasn't, I'd probably go crazy, but... Okay guys, I am finally ready to talk about Frost by Crawford. I just finished it probably... I keep going like this, but I don't have my watch on today. I finished it probably an hour or so ago. I think I'm gonna end up rating this book a 4.25 out of 5 stars. It was really good, and I honestly really enjoyed it. Like I said earlier in the video, it's about Ava, our fae person that has lived in the human realm. She is picked by Torin to go fight in these games to become his queen, basically, and you go through her journey while she's in these like little games. I really enjoyed it. The reason why I'm rating it a 4.25 stars is because there were a lot of fight scenes in it where it was like a whole chapter dedicated to like fighting. And for me, I just don't really think that's for me. I was just like kind of bored throughout those chapters. I was just like clicking through because I'm like, yeah, okay, we get it. She goes left, she swings her sword, then this, then this. Like for me, I just get kind of bored and I'm like, okay, just say who won the fight. Like have a little bit of that and then continue on. I can't really complain. This book was only 320-ish pages long and I felt like it held a really, really good pace. There is absolutely no spice in this book. Definitely, I would only still read it for whatever the recommended age is because there is like talk about the spicy scenes, but there is like no spice scenes in these books, if you understand. So I enjoyed that because I do not like spicy scenes in my book really. The ending of this book ended off on the biggest cliffhanger. It said that I had 22 minutes left and I went to go on to the next chapter. It was like, oh, here's the next book. The next book is called Ambrosia in the series. It's like the final book. And I was like, wait, what? It said I had more time. So I'm definitely gonna be reading the second book in the series sometime soon. I was just out by my bookshelf and stuff deciding on what I should read next. So I decided to pick up Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is on my December TBR, so hopefully we can get her done pretty quickly here since it is just a romance book. I read the first chapter. I'm probably just gonna go to bed now because I'm not even tired, but I just want to go to bed. Addicted to You is gonna be the next read in this video and I'm really excited because I've heard that when people start this book it ends up being like one of their favorite series of all time and the characters in these books feel like family to them. Anyways, I've been talking way too long at this camera. I'm gonna go to bed and I will probably see you guys tomorrow when I read more of this little book. So I, as you know, have been reading Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Updates. What kind of updates do I have for you? I am 186 pages in. Can we please appreciate how this book just stays open by itself? Honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this book. I feel like I feel very indifferent about it so far. I'm not really connected to the main characters. I don't know how I feel about it so far. Like I'm enjoying what I'm reading, but it's definitely not gonna be like a 5-star. And I feel like that's different from every other person that reads this book because I feel like everyone says that these characters in these books feel like family to them. And I just don't know if I'm connecting that way, which I'm kind of honestly bummed about. I'm definitely enjoying what I'm reading, like it's keeping me interested, but then again, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just making me feel kind of icky sometimes, honestly. I'm exactly 55% through this book. I want to tonight get to page 250. So I have about, quick math. I have like 65 more pages to get to 250 pages for tonight. So I feel like that's doable. And then I'll definitely be able to finish the book tomorrow. That's my update so far. I'm sorry it's kind of negative, but I'm just feeling very indifferent about it so far. Hopefully the rest of the book comes in and just wows me because I would love that. I really want to love this series and I really want to continue on and I want this series to be one of my faves and for these characters to feel like family to me. So I really hope that the next half of this book is going to do that for me. But I'm gonna go keep reading this and hopefully get to page 250 tonight. So I finished Okay guys, so I just finished Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I honestly don't really know how I feel about this book. I still feel very indifferent to it. I'm just honestly not really a fan of spice in my books. And this book didn't have like a lot of spice, but if you know what the two characters are addicted to, there's obviously spicy scenes in it. And that's just not really for me. And that's obviously what this book mostly focused on. And I just feel indifferent about it. Like, I don't love the book, but I also don't hate it at all. I don't know what to think about it. I ended up rating it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm interested to see where the story goes, like, within the next books in the series. It's definitely not going to be at the top of my TBR, but maybe I will eventually read it because I am, again, interested in seeing where the story goes. I'm kind of sad, though, because I wanted to love this book, and I'm just, like, not in love with it. And I guess that's also the problem with expecting things when you're going into a book. If you're expecting to absolutely love it and then it lets you down, it's kind of like a bigger letdown than going into the book not knowing much about it and then ending up loving it or it being okay. Another book to add on to the red pile. Now the next problem is picking a next book to start. So I'm gonna go try to figure out what book I want to read next. Okay guys, I think after much contemplation and a lot of time that I have found my next read that I want to read, and that is gonna be Sadie by Courtney Summers. I think this was popular back when I was in like elementary or middle school, but honestly I haven't heard anyone talk about this since then. But I do remember seeing this cover when I was in either elementary or middle school. I think middle school probably. I guess it's about, let me read back. This is giving me low-key A Good Girl's Guide to Murder vibes because first of all, look at how it's written. Well, that's in her point of view. Interview style writing, and then there's like her writing, and then there's more interview style writing type things. This is basically about this guy named West McRae. He has a podcast and he gets a call being like, hey, there's this runaway girl. You should do your podcast about her and try to find her. And he's like, girls run away all the time. Like, what do you mean? But then he finds out that this runaway girl is Sadie, and Sadie's younger sibling got murdered and she ran away after her younger sibling got murdered. I don't know why that's just giving me A Good Girl's Guide to Murder vibes, because if you've read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Pip has like a podcast of her own that she gets famous from. But basically Sadie runs away to go find out who killed her little sister. And then there's also the guy that has the podcast who's trying to find Sadie and figure out the murder as well. Try to figure out where Sadie is, but Sadie's literally hunting down a murderer. I don't know, that just sounds so interesting to me. Also, I haven't read a thriller in a while, I feel like. I'm just really hoping it serves, and it sounds really interesting, and I just think I'm gonna have a great time reading this. So this is gonna be my next read for this video. Alright guys, little update for ya. It's a couple days later, I think like 2 days later, and I have been reading Sadie by Courtney Summers, as you guys know. I'm currently on page 207. According to Goodreads, I'm about 67% of the way through this book. I'm honestly really liking it so far. I know I said it was giving like a good girl's guide to murder vibes, but it's a lot darker, I think, than A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Basically, what you have is this girl named Sadie. She's the main character. And like I said, her sister is murdered, and Sadie believes she knows who the murderer is. She's on this journey of trying to find this person that she believes to have murdered her sister. So there's like that storyline going on, and then there's also this other storyline going on of this podcast guy, and it's like a dual timeline because you're having Sadie's timeline of when she's going around to all these different places trying to find this certain person, and then you also have the timeline of the podcast person, and the timeline of that is that they found Sadie's car and all of her belongings are in the car, but they don't know where Sadie is. So it's like in the future from when Sadie's point of view is, And it's just really, really interesting because you're finding out little bits and pieces of information from Sadie's point of view and who she's trying to find. And then you're finding little bits and pieces of information that you don't see from Sadie's point of view that you see from the podcast person's point of view. Also, I said this book I thought I heard about in elementary or middle school. That's like not even possible because this book was published in 2018. So I was in high school. So I don't know where I was getting that from. But I had a feeling I'd seen this before, but maybe I just haven't. Sometimes that just happens to me. I'm like, oh, I've seen that before, and then I really just haven't. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this so far. I've been tabbing it up a bit. I don't know if you can see. You see my little tabs in there? I only have about 100 pages left. I'm probably gonna go watch some YouTube and then read more of this. Give myself a little break, you know? Okay guys, it is now the next day, and last night I finished Sadie by Courtney Summers. I really just don't know what to say about this book. It was really, really good, and I just thought that it was like not what I was expecting when going into this. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a lot like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but it was not that. And it was just really, really good. I would say if you're going to read this, definitely go look at the trigger warnings if you are sensitive to certain topics, because there is some talk about certain topics that could be sensitive to people in this, so I would just make sure. And I found it very devastating. It's definitely not a happy read. It's very devastating, heart-wrenching, and just like you're rooting for Sadie, but also like she's a teenager. Should I be rooting for her to literally go get rid of someone? I don't really know. But yeah, I honestly really like this book. Again, not what I was expecting, but I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5 stars. And that's gonna be all the books I'm reading in today's video, so we're just gonna do a quick little wrap up of all the books I read. So first I read Frost by C.N. Crawford. I rated that, I think, a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I really, really liked that book. Very escapism and really just what I needed in the time. A short, quick fantasy book. I recommend that book. And then I read Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Honestly, wasn't a fan of this. I know, unpopular opinion. I'm going to rate it a 3.25, I think, out of 5 stars. I just don't really think I liked the toxicity of the relationship, and also I don't like certain themes that were going on in this book. But I will continue the series because I've heard that it gets a lot better as you go on within the series. And then, like I said, I read Sadie by Courtney Summers, 4 out of 5 stars. The ending just really, really shocked me. It's like an open-ended ending. It's like your own interpretation of ending, which I don't know if I really like. Like, I would have liked some closure, honestly, because I'm always just debating the theories in my head. But anyways, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. I really enjoyed my time reading it, and I binged the last 210 pages last night. So very bingeable, but also, again, look up trigger warnings before you read this. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so, so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys know how to do. And I will see you guys in the next one.